Welcome to the BoshNRoll channel. If you want to support my daily Eternal Magic offerings while getting amazing perks like the BoshNRoll Discord community, have me play your deck on the channel, or listen sideboard guides before tournaments, check out the Patreon or YouTube membership program. This channel is possible because of these amazing sponsors. Check them out, all their links are in the video description. As always, thanks for being here. Let's go play some Magic. Welcome back for another BoshNRoll video. Today I'm playing Legacy, and at the request of Patreon subscriber Bobby, I am out here with Phyrexian Dreadnought. We're kind of in Orcish Bowmaster's world at this point. The Lord of the Rings set has been out for a full week at the time I'm recording this. It'll be even longer by the time you're seeing it. And people are trying out Bowmasters. Whether it belongs in all the places it is right now will remain to be seen. It might settle down like Hull Breacher or Opposition Agent before it and just sort of become a role player in decks. 2 is a lot less than 3 mana, so probably going to be better than both of those cards, but we're still figuring out where it's going to land. And I am playing some Bowmasters on the channel, don't worry, but also, what's a good way to beat Bowmasters? How about shoving a 12/12 trample down their throat? Nice army. We have a Dreadnought. Dress down, turns off Bowmasters, hits that ETB trigger. You can also dress down and then spend a turn brainstorm and pondering till your heart's content. Lightning Bolt, a good answer to the front half of that. Minsc and Boo, just slam right over the top of it. Bowmasters is good at picking off Boo on the turn it arrives, but once you get counters on that thing, it's out of reach. Endurance, big old booty. That doesn't draw cards. This deck seems like it has a lot of natural resilience to Bowmaster strategies, and I'm here for that. Obviously, a card is worth thinking about if I started by talking about a card that's not in the deck for a full minute rather than the deck itself. But yeah, we got Phyrexian Dreadnought, we got 4 Stifle, and we got 4 Dress Down to get it into play. 2 Mycosynth Gardens to make more of them once they're in play. Gardens is the card I'm most suspicious of in this list. Kinda wish it was 2 more Wastelands. But we're gonna run it because this is what Bobby sent me, and I am here to try the new stuff. The top end of this deck, we've got 3 Uro, 2 Minsc and Boo. You can grind going in, you can go way over the top with Dreadnought. The Stifles and Dress Downs also work to put Uro into play ahead of schedule. All of it with Daze Force of Will backup. Pretty good stuff here. And in the sideboard, in addition to all the normal stuff, 2 copies of Greater Good. And I still have in my collection these foil versions from when I 5-0'd with Greater Good Dreadnought on the channel a few months ago. Sacrifice a creature, draw cards equal to the sacrifice creature's power, then discard 3 cards. Greater Good, insane in any sort of grindy matchup, turning Phyrexian Dreadnought into a draw 12, discard 3. Really good, hard to lose when you pull that off in a game. This card exposes you pretty grossly to Orcish Bowmaster. We'll see if the matchups overlap where you have both of those cards in. Veil of Summer lines up good against Bowmasters, though. Stops the ping. If they don't ping, they don't amass an army. We might see an uptick in Veil of Summer if Bowmasters becomes central to the format for a while. But all that aside, this is Rug Dreadnought. We've seen Dreadnought decks on the channel before. We've seen Uro decks on the channel before. I'm excited to do all of it, and let's make it happen. I'm on the draw in round 1 with a hand that would be a Stone Cold Bruiser on the play. I'm still going to keep it, though. I can Stifle a land drop, then set up a Dress Down into Dreadnought. Good stuff going on here. Myria, Shattered Skyclave. Oh boy, do I wish I was on the play here. Let's see how far this train goes. Chalice of the Void. That card sucks ass. Okay, there goes most of my hand. Killed. Play draw. I could have stifled the Imprint on Chrome Mox on the play. I don't know that I would have, but still hurts. And then they get to play an Initiative Idiot this turn. Elite Spellbinder. I could just concede here. What are my outs in the main deck to a Chalice? Grind it out with Uro. I have Minsc and Boo. Maybe I don't want them to know I'm a Dreadnought deck. But Dress Down is pretty solid. Yeah, whatever. Let's grind it out. Have a look. I would take Dress Down or Endurance from this hand, probably. Minsc and Boo was the take. Interesting. At 6 mana, I'm basically never casting that card. If they have a Wasteland to follow up here, then we could probably concede to that. But in the meantime, I'm going to hang out. I can dress down to stop the initiative from entering the game. They did not have this Cavern of Souls last turn. They didn't play a land at all last turn. They used Lotus Petal to cast their spell. Archon of Emeria. Well, I'll fetch in response to this. Get a Volcanic Island. And then, do I dress down in the end step? I don't think it matters. I'm going to dress down in the end step. This at least gives me a turn of development on my lands. The Gardens. Minor misstep. Yep, can't even pitch cast an Endurance that stays in play here. Yeah, that didn't work out. Chalice obliterated. As it tends to do. Meltdown, Brotherhood's End. I really don't want to bring in Force Negation, but maybe I should. Life from the Loam also has text here. Minor misstep. Very few targets in their deck for that. Days on the play. Probably don't want Days. They're a deck full of explosive mana. Stifle is kind of loose too. It's just really bad against Chalice and doesn't help me survive the first Chalice. I'll leave a few in because it's part of the deck, but this is what I'm going to do. This hand does not have any colored mana. I'm going to mulligan it. Okay, I'll keep this. And I'll send a Tropical Island to the bottom. I can force to stay alive and then stifle in a Dreadnought. That's the plan. City of Traders. Chalice of the Void. Force of Will. Ice Cold to Solitude here. Brainstorm. Well, at least I have a backup plan. Volcanic Island, Tropical Island, Dreadnought. Let's party. Play the Dreadnought, stifle the trigger, put you on Solitude or Plow, and off we go. Yep, immediately solituding. Not even letting me have it in play for a second. Just, nah, come on. That's fine. It's a 2 for 2, and we'll see what's left on the other side. Oh good, they have a second Chalice. Come on! I can barely beat one of those. The good news is their land is City of Traders, and it might take them a minute to rebuild here. Bad news is I got nothing going on. I'll play out Tropical Island. I'm going to need to melt down or Brotherhood's End eventually. Ancient Tomb, immediately rebuilding. Another 1-drop. They tapped Ancient Tomb, then untapped it, changed their mind. That was interesting. Uro, this is a card that can function under Chalice. See a Wasteland off this Uro, that would be great. Like a Meltdown too, though. They haven't done anything in a while. I'm a card short of escaping Uro, so I do have to spend a turn melting down. And I can Brainstorm now, try to find Wasteland, and just take them out of the game. No such love. But I do find lands of my own, and Uro will show up next turn. Uh-oh, they found land number 4. We're going to have to battle the initiative. Yep, to the surprise of nobody, there's that card. Mycosynth Gardens, that's interesting. I could put a Dreadnought into play here instead of Uro. Not convinced that's better. Just really like drawing cards. Here's Uro, trigger. Okay, Minsc and Boo. That's good at taking the initiative. Alright, we'll see what happens this turn. It's a big turn for them. They get to do all kinds of stuff. I am at 34. You're going to have 5 cards in hand. One of them's a Plains. You're going into Forge, though. They want to party. Alice Jailer. They probably think that's pretty good. And they're mostly right. Minsc and Boo's a monster, though. We'll see if they have another Solitude. Elite Spellbinder revealed from the Explorer. Lotus Petal. And they drew the Spellbinder. Okay. I drew my freaking basic land. Great. Now I don't get value off of getting the initiative. There's 1 basic land in the deck, and I just drew it for the turn. Okay, I get to attack here. They let me have the counters, which I feel like if they had a Plow, they wouldn't have let me done. Oh, something's happening. Touch the Spirit Realm. Okay, that one makes sense. That's going forever. Minsc is dead on board. Can bolt Palace Jailer. That's not good, though. Yeah, that was the turn where I needed to do something, and it didn't happen. Here's Spellbinder. I'm gonna bolt Palace Jailer on the way out. Just literally do anything here. But none of it's particularly exciting. Basically, I have to draw the other Minsc off the top here. Archon of Emeria. Okay. Another Archon is the Explorer. And they like that one. They're keeping it. And they are attacking Minsc, as one does. Monarch draws them Archon. Okay, well, I can play this Gardens. Unfortunately, it's tapped. But I can play a Dreadnought. Copy Dreadnought in response to the trigger. And then I'm going to sacrifice the tapped Dreadnought to keep the untapped one. And I have a 12/12 trample now. As bad as this game has gone, fingers crossed. They get to draw another extra card. They only get one spell a turn, but they only need one spell if it's a removal. Attacking with the non-seasoned Dungeoneer cards. Another Archon of Emeria revealed. Can't block. Okay, what you got? You were Hellbent one turn ago. You've drawn 3 cards since then. That's not a plow. This also isn't enough toughness to do everything they need. Cavern Elemental. I hope that's on spec and they don't actually have it yet. Hey, here we go. Can I have the initiative, please? Not that it's huge or important in this particular moment to have it. It doesn't do anything. And they go enter the throne next turn. Okay. Some trample damage has gone through. I get the Monarch and the initiative. And I get Urrowed back. Urrow triggers. Puts this land into play. Tapped, of course. And the initiative. Search my deck for a land, which I don't have. And then escape Urrow. And I can still copy Dreadnought again. This is some high-octane Magic the Gathering, not gonna lie. I'm pretty excited right now. And Monarch trigger, Force of Will, not that it matters. Every card in their deck is uncounterable. They're just going in with everything. They're saying, I need the Throne of the Dead 3 to win me this game anyway. Might as well attack. They become the Monarch, and they get the initiative, which goes into the Throne of the Dead 3. I can wait until Solitude targets something, though I should probably do this now. Because if they don't have Solitude, if they have like Anointed Peacekeeper instead, then this doesn't work. Speak of the devil, there it is. Solitude is there, but it's not enough against 2 Dreadnoughts. The 6/5 lifelink is actually a lot. The stats on that thing might be enough. Wait, this is counterable. I'm going to counter it because it's literally the thing I can do in the game. Archon is not a thing they named. They named Elemental and Human. They get a Monarch draw. And then I get a turn. Oh, they conceded. I guess they were dead no matter how they block here. Nice. I was about to start doing that lifelink math, but we did it. I did not think we were going to win that game, but here we are. Is this a greater good matchup? It is certainly a way to leverage creatures that are going to die anyway. I could cut a Daze for a greater good. Let's try to outmuscle. Okay, I'm going to do that. No Dazes. No Daze allowed. Force of Will for a Chalice. And Ponder to find my land drops. Dress down to stabilize. I'll keep this one. Zapped in Emeria. Chrome Mox. A bold hero would Force of Will that, but I'm not that. I don't have that read. I'm not that good. Instead, I will Force of Will this. And I think Ponder is better than Brainstorm in this hand right now. I can't afford to get Brainstorm locked. Life from the Loam is really good if I hit a fetch land on this Ponder. Which I did not. Shuffle it. And I found a Dreadnought. Okay. I have some concerns here. God, my opponent with the 2 Chalices. Fetch land off the top still just beats this. Come on, fetch land. Fetch land, fetch land, fetch land. Son of a biscuit. Force of Will after the second Chalice comes down. Insult to injury. They missed their land drop too, though. They kept a hand on the strength of double Chalice, which is quite strong. The Lotus Petal. I'll force almost anything here, including that. And fetch land is still a great draw. They had to use Lotus Petal to do that. Fetch land, fetch land. Mycosynth Gardens. Okay. I'm gonna leave up Dress Down rather than cast a naked Loam. Casting Loam, dredging it, finding your second land is a reasonable thing to do. But I'm not quite in that spot yet. This copies artifacts you control. Okay. Come on, fetch land. Okay. Island is not a fetch land, but we're moving in the right direction. Another Sworn Canonist. Yep, that's going to resolve. Now any red source is actually insane, because I can Mycosynth Gardens, filter a red, and on 4 mana kill their whole board. I'm going to end step Dress Down here. This is a really important turn to find my land. If I get double red right now, we're out of here. End step Dress Down. Come on, fetch land. Volcanic Island. Burrow. And Greater Good. Oh my god. Alright, well. I'll cast Uro, who gets to hang out in play, at least. 6/6 creature, go. Dress Down triggers in the end step. Solitude's back on. Swords of Plowshares is off on their own card, though. There's a Solitude pitching Loran. I would have rather had a red source than 6 life here. We're in the same spot, though. Red source wins the game immediately. Red source, come on. Come on. Oh my god. Sweet escape from the jaws of hell. Brotherhood's End, destroy all artifacts. Filter a red. Splat. All of your permanents are in the graveyard now. You get this weird white source. And now I have a Greater Good Dreadnought set up. Stifle. Okay. If I Loam, I can Dreadnought Stifle, but I can't copy it. I can also Dreadnought Stifle and threaten a copy. I'm going to do that. Dreadnought Stifle. And they're going to have to kill 2 of these things. Now there's a little bit of a cat and mouse game where do I just make 24 power and take them to the cleaners? But if they have a removal spell in response to that, then I have no Dreadnoughts at the end. I'm just going to do this in 2 turns, I think. The Dreadnought in the hand is worth 2 in the graveyard. That's what they say, right? In for 12. Okay, they took their damage. We'll never know if this would have worked or not. But Life from the Loam is online. And you have a hard time ever convincing me that the safe line is the wrong one. Ancient Tomb. Uh-oh. Seasoned Dungeoneer. That does not beat me here. Right now, their last 2 cards would have to be Solitude White card, and it looks like it's not. Okay, that was an awful game 1, a miserable game 2 that we ground out, and then a pretty clean stomping game 3. And we picked up a W for it. Let's go. This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks. And groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there. On the play in round 2 with on the play Stifle situation. I'm in. A Volcanic Island go and hope Stifle's not on their radar. I haven't had a good Stifle blowout non-game in a long time in Magic. And Stifle Wasteland is just as good as anything else. This works out the same. They have 0 lands and I have 1. Ox Diamond, uh-oh. I've been tricked. Starting a Ghost Quarter, playing an Exploration. Jeez. Sphere of Resistance. Holy cannolis. Well, I thought we were having a good game here. And my opponent is a Dirty Lands Wizard. That's the turn. I'm still holding up Stifle, but I can't shove Dreadnought into play anymore. If they have a Life from the Loam, I probably can't win. But if they don't have that... Yep, Life from the Loam immediately. Great. This matchup sucks. Okay, Force of Negation needs to come in. My own Loams come in. Meltdown, Brotherhood's End, Surgical Extraction all coming in. Once again, Daze is bad. Lightning Bolt, not good here. Minor Misstep hits like Crop Rotation and Exploration. Those are good cards. Stifle's pretty reasonable. Endurance is Graveyard Hate. Alright, I'll cut a Minor Misstep, and this is what I'm going to do. I have my opponent's deck in the queue. It's on its way towards being recorded, this Sphere of Resistance lands deck. Got a mulligan this, and that doesn't cast spells. I can keep this one. I'm going to bottom one of the Dress Downs. I hope that's a card I don't need two of in a game. Stifle and Minor Misstep both available. Well, either, not both, technically speaking, according to language. Boseiju as your land drop. We're going to Minor Misstep this thing. It's nice when you have your one of in your opening hand right when you want it. That's why you leave one in the deck. I can shove Dreadnought here, so I will. I don't think this match is one that gets better with time. They have one Boseiju in play already. I'm sure their deck contains Maze of Ith, but I'm doing what I can here to get the game over before they get set up, because at that point I can't win it anymore. Mox Diamond. Discarding Saga and playing Wasteland, okay. And pass the turn without wasting me. Got a bigger plan. Now I have Force backup. That's a good thing to have in this situation. They could be setting up like a Crop Rotate away my own Boseiju, Loam Boseiju, Phyrexian Dreadnought kind of situation. Do I force this right now? I think so. This denies the Maze of Ith, and if they have Loam, then they also need two other lands, or they can have Pyroblast and blow me out. Cool. Alright, whatever your plan was, it's going to work now. Thespian Sage. Oh, they're just going to put Merit Lage in front of my 2020. That works too. Oh, cool. And playing around Wasteland by doing it now. That's also why they didn't waste me. Makes perfect sense. My deck does not contain a Brazen Borrower. What are my outs here? Not that. GG's. Yeah, that matchup feels awful. We are a tempo deck based heavily on cheap spells and non-basic lands, and they're a prison deck. On to the next one.
You come here to level up at Magic. To level up as a software engineer, check out the new YouTube series Dev Better, hosted by the founder of 7 Factor Software and Magic player, Jeremy Duvall. 7 Factor's small teams of high-performing engineers build custom mobile apps, APIs, and highly scalable systems for Fortune 500 companies and ambitious startups with great ideas. If you'd like to hire 7 Factor, or maybe join their team, contact them through their website at 7factor.io. And don't forget to subscribe to 7 Factor's YouTube for every episode of Dev Better.
On the draw for round 3, kind of a slower interacty hand, but that's okay. It's got RO in it. Opponent's got a Chronotog Avatar. Serious MTGO gamer. Noble Hierarch. Well, my days just got worse. I think I'm just going to land go here, rather than ponder. Leaving up Stifle and Daze, or Minor Misstep and Daze, seem reasonable here. Oh, we're Infect. Yeah, I will be Minor Misstepping this. Minor Misstep your Glistener Elf, and if you follow up with Blighted Agent, I can Daze that. E-Storm, okay. And fetching... Only thing they cast here could be Dazed if I think I care about it. Like a second Glistener Elf. Yeah, it seems pretty good to deal with 2 Infect threats in one turn. Force of Will pitching Ponder, okay. They're down to 1 card in hand, but they do have Glistener Elf. I'm gonna Ponder here. The days of holding up interaction are past. It's time to find a Lightning Bolt. Not mad about Dress Down, though. I will keep this pile of cards. That can knock Infect off of their creatures for a turn. Kinda fog them. I could also cheese out Uro, put a 6/6 in front of this thing next turn. Like, next turn cycle. Which might be enough, now that they're down to 1 card. The next card down is Tropical Island. Do I want that? I can play Gardens and keep it, but that gives up that I'm a Dreadnought deck. I think that's fine, though. Playing Dress Down's about to give up I'm a Dreadnought deck anyway. I could also Dress Down in combat, save myself some Infect, and then Uro Stifle the trigger. and that still ends up with our own play. I've got options here. I'm not quite ready to stifle an Exalted trigger off Noble Hierarch, but I do know it exists. I will dress down any pump spell here. Yeah. Okay, so let Vines resolve first, and then dress down afterwards. Oh, they're doing more. Cool. If they commit to a Berserk here, this is going to be a huge blowout because they think their thing can't be interacted with. Second Vines. Okay, so I'm going to take 10 combat damage here. And then I'll untap and have Uro in play. I'm at 9, soon to be 12, and then soon to be 11 with a 6/6 in play. Hellbent opponent, looking bad for them. Make sure to stack the land coming into play before the sacrifice so you can afford to stifle. Oh, cool. I'll keep my fetch land then. Stifle Uro trigger, and we're chilling with force backup. Feel good about this game right now. I love Dress Down. Jeez, what a card. Not ready to force Ponders. I'll force a Blighted Agent. That's a card I'm worried about at this point. I think I'm just bigger than Glistener Elf. Did not shuffle their Ponder. Okay. And then didn't attack either. Suspicious. Endurance. That's big enough that I can attack and then still put something in front of Glistener Elf that'll beat it in combat. Especially if I keep running off land drops like this. Do everything I want to do in my life. And do I want to ponder here? I kind of do, actually. Minsc and Boo. Post-combat Minsc and Boo. Good stuff. I don't think I care about Stifle. I do like the idea of winning the game next turn. I'm going to keep Minsc and Boo on top, and I'm just going to pass here. I could play it now and have a 4/4 blocker with Force of Will backup, but the surprise endurance makes me very happy. Okay, they weren't surprised. I'm still going to cast it, though. Yeah, when you play Infect, you have to know what all the flash creatures in the format are. I am targeting them with Endurance. Sometimes they play Become Immense or some card that uses the graveyard. Okie dokie. Minsc and Boo, go get them. Big beats from the hand here. The 2 cards in their hand are the 2 they kept from Ponder. Both of those are on purpose. Damn it, I just moved into combat without clicking my thing. It's fine. Minusing Minsc and Boo also threatens legal here, but I did not do that on purpose. I was busy trying to figure out what their 2 cards in hand are. Right, opponent's at 1. Minus Minsc and Boo. I'll sacrifice the hamster. Since my opponent is at 1 life. The perfect crime. Throw in Boo, all natural for Xaxes. Brotherhood's End, pretty reasonable. Flusterstorm, reasonable. I don't really like Force Negation kind of stuff against this deck. I'd rather put big creatures in front of it and interact with the creatures they have than fight over the pump spells. Veil of Summer, I can picture blowouts with it, but it doesn't work on a lot of the stuff I care about. And Pyroblast hits their cantrips and blighted agents. I do want that. I don't really like Daze on the draw against the Noble Hierarch deck. Minsc and Boo is fine, but I don't think this is really something I need to win games with. I could even cut a Dreadnought if I want to get just built for stability rather than speed. Yeah, I'll do that. 0 removal spells in this, and Dress Down, like we saw last game, is a powerful tool. I am going to keep. I'd be happy with a Lightning Bolt, but this is what we get. And it's good enough. Just a Ponder. Cool. Did not shuffle. A Lightning Bolt. Keep these hands on faith. The deck will reward you. They know I'm a Stifle deck. They have to respect that with whatever they do here. Listener Elf. Okay. I'm going to send a Lightning Bolt at that. Right now, while if they invigorate it, I'm not going to also take 4 Infect off the deal. And if they don't have Invigorate, Daze would save it here. They're usually a Daze deck, at least a few copies, if not all 4. But they can't Vines of Vastwood or Blossoming Defense or anything like that. Daze, you got it. Okay, that's counter. Regular Island and pass is my play here. You have to be careful with Dress Down because activating Inkmoth Nexus after Dress Down is already in play will give it all the abilities again and a higher layer above Dress Down removing the abilities. Inkmoth has to already be a creature when you do the thing. The Tropical Island's back. Firing up Inky. I have enough Dress Downs that I don't mind using one just to fog some damage this turn. I'll pass priority on blocks, see if they want to invigorate here. They do want to invigorate here. Cool. Okay, I'll Dress Down in response to that. If they have another Daze and another invigorate, I'm dead. If they don't have all those things, I'll just take some damage. Force of Will, pitching Brainstorm. Okay. This might be it, folks. They have another invigorate, I am dead. Well done. Okay, GG. They won the game where they cast 4 free spells. And no surprise there. Okay, on the play, I think Daze is a little better. And what do I like less? In Stifle is mid, especially with a Dreadnought out. Yeah, I'll go down to 2 Stifles. Even though I'm on the play where I could blow out a fetch land, I still think just playing normal Magic is better than trying to cheese that. These colorless lands betraying me. Whether these are gardens or wasteland barely matters. Technically gardens, I could filter blue, but not going to keep this. Okay, I can rock with this. Keep it and bottom. I think one of the forces. I don't want to force twice in this game. And I'm just going to fetch Volcanic Island, cast Ponder. Another Force of Will, a Dreadnought, and a second land. And I'll take another force. I don't want to force twice this game, it's still true, but the land is what I was looking for. Brainstorm's good. Dreadnought could be good with a little help. Noble Hierarch, you got it. I'm just going to land go for now. See what they do, decide when I'm going to cast my Brainstorm. Maybe we'll get the first appearance of Blighted Agent in the matchup, at which point Pyroblast is great. Hooray! Look who decided to show. Just when I'm ready to answer it. Okay, they got something to say about it. He said Spell Pierce. I'm going to force pitching Force. I think Brainstorm is just a better tool here. Ooh, force me back again. Okay. We are deep in a Brainstorm hole now, or a counter war. My Dazes are both in. If I Brainstorm now, Daze is a huge blowout. Daze is a huge blowout for them too, but I'm still gonna cast a Brainstorm now. Give myself the shot at this. Minor misstep. Disappointing. Okay. Well, that didn't go how I wanted. And you end up with a Blighted Agent for your efforts. Wasteland does very little here, but I don't like Brainstorming either. I'll just fire off the Wasteland, hope that their 2 cards in hand don't kill me, and dig for some interaction next turn. I can counter a Vines of Vastwood or Berserk. None of the above, just 2. Inkmoth Nexus, scary. Another threat. Now Lightning Bolt doesn't even stabilize me. Oh my god. More of this is happening. That barely adds to the clock though, because the Exalted was already doing a lot of work here. It does make it harder to stabilize. Okay. Dreadnought's out. Drops on top. Burrows here. And pass the turn. If they fire up Inkmoth, they can do 3 poison, and attack with 1 or both Blighted Agents is 2 poison. Firing up Inkmoth. I think I am going to leave this Tropical Island on top. And then I'm going to shuffle before I Uro. Get red, play green, and then Uro with red up. I'm in danger here. A lot of stuff kills me. Uro trigger. Lightning Bolt. Okay, that was one of the better things I could find. That gives me counterplay with Invigorate and not just 1 mana spells. I'm getting worried though. The critical mass of spells they could have in their hand at this point is super scary. And they did not go in for 3, so they are trying to push 1 big creature over the finish line here. No blocks. I would have felt so much better with even 1 additional mana up. Now Daze, any pump spell, second Invigorate, everything gets me. Yep, kicked Vines of Vastwood. Still costs 1, but doesn't matter. GG's. Yeah, this is situation where the construction of our deck, the big angle, the Dreadnought thing, is almost certainly worse than just normal creatures and some Chain Lightnings or Unholy Heats. The fact that we need to play 4 Stifle, 4 Dress Down, and then this Dreadnought, I'm happy to have against Glistener Elf. It doesn't help against Inkmoth Nexus or Blighted Agent. And multiple times in that game 3, we had to shuffle away or deal with or brainstorm away Phyrexian Dreadnought, where if this was just a deck that didn't have this go tall angle on it, we're in better shape. But also, this go tall angle is the only reason we beat the initiative deck 2 rounds ago. So, you know, give and take. But that is an important thing to be aware of, and it just came up in that matchup.
The Command Tower software by Eminence Gaming is perfect for hosting TCG events. It features easy-to-create event registration for 1v1 and 4-player Swiss structured tournaments. Event management has never been so simple, and it's web-based, so there's no download required. Get access for just $5 at eminence.event/subscribe.
On the draw, in round 4, got a big, heavy Dreadnought hand. Stifle, Dress Down, and Gardens with the Dreadnought to make it all happen. I think I'm just gonna Misty Rainforest pass. They went Fetch Land Go into my Stifle. I was gonna Ponder, but with this hanging out here, I can't say no. And now, I will say no. The moment of dread in any game of Legacy where you crack your fetch land and your opponent fetches in response. Stifle is not a super common card, but everyone knows it exists. And it feels bad when you get got. They do have another land. Oh, and we're dead. Stifle is much better against Tendrils of Agony than it is against Polluted Delta, if this is a Storm deck. Oh, is this Show and Tell? Oh, it's Dredge, or is this some blue-black Reanimator? This is weird. I don't like it. Oh, wow. Whatever they saw, they didn't like it. And they're done. And all they saw was Stifle. They didn't even stick around to see what my deck actually does. Cool. Well, if you have Otherworldly Gaze, I'm bringing in Graveyard Hate. Some kind of blue-black combo deck. I'll bring in Veil of Summer just in case. Force of Negation, Flusterstorm. These all seem important. Pyroblast, you're also a blue deck. Okay, here's some cards. I'm gonna imagine that Lightning Bolt's not good here. Endurance seems likely to be good. Minsc and Boo, I feel like this is a matchup where you win or you lose, and it's not actually that close or competitive. I'm going to shave a Dreadnought or a Stifle, and Daze seems bad. Guessing on a lot of this stuff because we didn't really see their deck, but we saw blue mana, blue-black fetch lands, a Lotus Petal, and a spell that puts cards in your graveyard. And those are all the things we saw. That's enough to make some decisions. I'll keep this hand. It has Force of Will in it. Careful Study. I think we force these. Anything like this needs to be addressed. Yeah, Daze. Fair enough. I don't have a second wave. Archon of Cruelty in the graveyard. Veil of Summer works against that. Not if they do it on turn 1, though. Oh, okay. We're very dead. Otherworldly Gaze. Interesting. Okay. This is not Reanimate. Card may or may not even be good. I have no idea. The bad news about Archon of Cruelty, though, is even if I Veil of Summer the trigger and get to draw a card and don't have to discard a spell, it's still just not actually good. Oh, you know what's great, though? Endurance. Okay, cool. I guess I'll cast Ponder, then. If I can find a counter magic backup. Oh, wow. Or just a plan to win the game afterwards. Okay. I will, stick to this Dreadnought Dress Down setup that I've been given. And my opponent's hand has to be a land and a reanimation spell. And then their last card would have to be Daze for me to be sad here. Nice, we're in there. Endurance U. Reanimate Fizzles. 1 card left in your hand. And then I'm going to have a Dreadnought 2 turns out. Cool. I like the setup. And if they suddenly juke me with land Show and Tell, I can Dress Down in response to Show and Tell, Dreadnought, and we're chilling. Dreadnought might be bigger than some number of things that come out of a Show and Tell. But it appears they don't have that. And I'm going to get to Dreadnought here and see some extra cards. Gazing in response. Okay. This is a really interesting card in blue-black Legacy Reanimator. Not something I've seen before. I've seen it in Dredge decks and lower power formats, but in Legacy, spicy. Force of Will. Well, I was going to brainstorm, but now I'll just hold up Force Blue card and enjoy my 12/12. Was I worried about land show until two turns ago from a 2-card hand? Yeah, you need 3 cards for that to matter. Flashing back Gaze, that's fine. Traxa and Vesuvan Drifter put in the graveyard, that's cool. I love a Vesuvan Drifter. Red Blast, cool. Okay. I can interact 2 times for 1 mana. And they're dead on board. Animate, dead, Force of Will. 1 card left in your hand. If it's Red Blast or Veil of Summer, it could be okay here. Alright, nope, match is just over. This is our second match that's under 10 minutes in this league. This one went our way, the other one didn't. We're just moving along here, on to the final round. For the absolute best Magic the Gathering apparel on the market, check out the link in the video description to coalesceapparel.shop, and be sure to use the code BoshNRoll for 10% off when you check out. I'm on the draw in the final round. This hand kinda sucks. I can pitch cast an Endurance early, but otherwise I'm kinda hoping the game goes slow. I am gonna keep though, because Endurance is 0 mana interaction if this is a fast thing, and if it's not a fast thing, then this is the hand that can just 1, 2, 3, 4. Here comes Minsc. Uh-oh, Mountain is the wrong kind of fast thing. I'll at least be able to fetch my basic island, not that that matters. Yeah, I might be in some trouble here. Okay, another Mountain and passing the turn. Weird. How about a spell I can use? Even just any blue card would make me feel better. Alright, that is both a blue card and a spell I can use. I have to decide which one I think is more important for it to be. I think it's more important to be a blue card right now. This might be Painter with kind of a slow start. If this is Red Stompy, they kept a really bad hand. If it's Burn, I don't know what's going on. Okay, looks like Red Stompy confirmed. Fable. I don't think Fable is my fight. I might only get 1 Force of Will this game, and my opponent has somehow generously allowed this game to get to a spot where I can cast this Endurance and then cast Minsc. Just bang bang on back-to-back turns. Endurance can eat the Goblin token in combat, Force of Will can counter whatever they cast, and then I untap and jam Minsc, and that's a game plan. Discarded Great Furnace and Simian Spirit Guide. Great Furnace is weird in Stompy. I feel like this is some variation or hybrid of 2 decks that is ultimately unusual. Anything could happen here. But right now I have to fetch 2 drops to cast Endurance and eat this thing. Then they'll have 5 mana, second main, maybe 6 if they have a land drop, 7 if they have another Ancient Tomb. I will Force of Will of Fury. Target their graveyard just in case they use it. Block. And if they have Dead Gone to finish this or Stomp, I don't care about those things. Endurance can go. 7 mana it is. Goblin Engineer, okay. We were Painter the whole time. Here's Grindstone. They were smart to attack first, because now this Endurance just doesn't do what I need it to. Minor Misstep is cool. That counters Pyroblast. I think I'm going to start here with a Ponder. I'm not going to jam Minsc into their potential combo when I could have up a bunch of interaction instead. Daze is awful. I'll take the Ponder. That pairs well with Force. I can cantrip if I need to, or just pitch that to Force. I like the Dress Down. If you dress down Painter Servant on arrival, it never gets to name a color. And then they got a bunch of work to do. Here's the Painter. I'm going to fetch in response to Dress Down. Or fetch in response and then play Dress Down. It's not exactly in response to Dress Down. And I can counter a Pyroblast. Bang. Minor Misstep. And Reflection just beats this. So I have to answer Reflection. Goblin Engineer locks up against it too. Yeah, this is actually really shitty. I need to draw exactly Lightning Bolt to really be playing this game. They're flipping treasure token into Grindstone in response. That's weird. Dress down. Painter arrives without getting to name a color. And now all their artifacts are in play, so they can't... If I attack... Okay. If I attack, they can block, put Painter in the graveyard. Reflection to Kiki Jiki just kills me if they untap with that. So answers have to come somewhere here. How about a Lightning Bolt deck? I'm going to start with Ponder. Lightning Bolt. None of these are helpful. I'm going to shuffle this rather than take the Ponder, because Minsc and Boo can answer Reflection. It's just not pretty in the way that it does it. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Minsc and Boo. Maybe I'm supposed to attack first. I didn't want to attack because then that puts Painter in the graveyard where Goblin Engineer kills me. But then I can Minsc and Boo to kill Goblin Engineer. I guess this play is still the same. They just need to... They just know it's coming. Okay, I'm going to attack with Endurance. And then second main, sacrifice a creature. I'm going to sack Endurance to deal damage to Reflection. That hurts. They have to get an artifact into their graveyard. They could target themselves with Grindstone to get that party going. Or they could have a second Painter right now, which this just kills me anyway. Because they activate... Yeah, even if I counter this, they can Engineer and just flip it. Okay. You did it. And if I had saved my Endurance to clear this Grindstone after Goblin Engineer on the turn I Enduranced, then the Grindstone's not in the mix, and we're not worried about these things. They Meltdown, Brotherhood's End, Hydroblast. I don't like bringing in Pyroblasts in this matchup, hoping that they name blue. Life from the Loam, I enjoy. Getting them in a Wasteland squeeze versus their Saga plan is pretty reasonable. Not a big Daze fan. Minsc and Boo gets bolted in the matchup. I'll leave one in to dig for when I gotta win somehow. Stifle's good, Dress Down's good. And Dreadnought is kind of risky versus Welder. And me bringing in Meltdowns and Brotherhood's Ends kind of steps on my own Dress Down. Or Dreadnought a bit. I don't think I want Surgicals. I'm not going to bring them in. Maybe for game 3. Meltdown and Brotherhood's End in the opener with just Brainstorm to try to make it happen. I think I'm going to keep this. This would be really bad if my Brainstorm gets Pyroblasted. They've got a Mountain and a Welder. Okay. Second land, or Brainstorm finding second land. Okay, I'll take Gardens. I'm not too proud. And do I Brainstorm, though? Is the question. I think I do, while I still can. Volcanic Island, Brainstorm. Cool. That worked about as well as I could ask for. If I put back Brotherhood's End and Meltdown, or I should put back Dreadnought and Brotherhood's End. I'm a little ways away from Dreadnought here. Fable. Don't have the counter for that. I can Brotherhood's End, killing creatures. In for one with Welder. I love when a Welder gets rowdy. Dreadnought on top of my deck. Gardens here in my hand. Yeah, I'll take the Brotherhood's End, deal 3 damage to creatures mode. Do this now before Fable can put something busted in the graveyard for Welder to find. I can cast Endurance next turn with the filter. 2 mountains discarded. Welder, you're back. Danger. Uh-oh. Painted it blue. And I know I'm drawing Dreadnought here. I'm going to start with Ponder. See if I can find Bolt. I did find Bolt. Don't shuffle this and play my land. I can Endurance myself to take a second spin if they go off here. What I'm trying to get done here is clear the Welder and then clear the Painter. Saga, okay. Attacking with Painter. I hate that I can't punish this. They did tap their Welder to get here. Yeah, I'm going to Bolt Painter in the end step. I fully expect a Red Blast. They did paint it blue even though they didn't have to. Okay, Painter's gone. Interesting. My top card is Ponder. And then Brainstorm's under it. I could make a Dreadnought right now. That makes Meltdown a lot worse. I have in a row. available to pitch to Endurance to either mess up their Welder or save myself. I'm gonna ponder first and then make a decision about what this Dreadnought's gonna do. Minor Misstep, Brainstorm, Ponder. I'm gonna shuffle these. Okay, land. I'm just gonna play Dreadnought here. Let's get one of these into play. And I actually have to keep the original one or else they can weld my Gardens into Dreadnought. And then I get no Dreadnoughts. So sacrifice the fake one to the real one. And now there's a land in my graveyard, not an artifact. And they're on a 2-turn clock from here. Here's Grindstone. I don't think I can win here. Oh, I needed to Endurance in response to the activation. Or to the casting it. Because if they activate Grindstone, target me, flip Grindstone into Painter, then copy Welder, make another Painter in response to Endurance. Oh. They didn't activate Grindstone first. That's lucky. Are they just gonna Pyroblast my Dreadnought then? Because they had a protected win there. And the fact they didn't take it, yeah, great. That's gone. My deck is random. I'm just gonna draw a card. I need Lightning Bolt, I think, to have any sort of chance here. A Ponder, start there. Stifle can buy me a turn, kinda. Okay, don't shuffle that. And then I'm gonna fetch now and get a Tropical Island. And I'll just pass the turn from here. I can't Meltdown now because I gotta wait for Urza Saga to run its course. But they can make a construct in the end stack, copy construct with reflection, make another construct, copy another construct. I might just die to damage right now. Oh, they didn't do it. Not interested. Cool, 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 cool. Likewise, if they just have Pyroblast backup here, I'm in trouble. But my plan is to Endurance myself. Get another turn. But they can Grindstone twice. Jeez. Tough crowd around here. Alright, well, the first Grindstone happens. And I don't have mana up to stifle anything right now. Guess I have to pitch cast the Endurance then. There's no other way out of this. Yeah, pitch cast Endurance so I can stifle the second Grindstone. Or they just have Pyroblast and I lose. Okay, GG's. That was tough. I did not feel like I was in any one of those games. And once again, the same thing that happened in the previous round, where instead of Chain Lightnings, Unholy Heats, that sort of meaningful interaction, we had Phyrexian Dreadnoughts. Just kind of awkward. This deck's good at some stuff and bad at some other stuff. What I would say about this deck, having now played 5 rounds with it, is I think there's too many Endurances. Endurance is a cool card. It's good in certain matchups like Delver. Obviously, Reanimator, you're happy to have it. But there were a bunch of games where we just had Endurance when we needed some interactive spell. I also personally don't love 4 Stifle, even in a deck that's leveraging it with Dreadnought. I think you can play 2 Stifle and let 4 Dreadnought or Dress Down do the work. If we cut 2 of the Stifles and at least 2 of the Endurances, that's 4 slots open. You could main deck a Loam, you could play a Preordain, you could play 2 Brazen Borrowers. There's just a lot of space that's opens up, and I think Brazen Borrower is something I'd want because we watched us just die to Chalice of the Void multiple times this league. Then we just died to a Merit Lage without any way to answer it in the deck. That's a direction I would go. The Greater Good in the sideboard is kind of spicy. Maybe play 1 of those, move an Endurance to the board, cut 2 Stifles. That's 3 main deck slots, 2 Brazen Borrowers, and Loam in the main. Or maybe you don't want Loam, and you could play another Wasteland. With that many Wastelands, I kind of want Loam. I'll let you fiddle with the slots, you person at home, but Endurance and Stifle, too high. Just play some other spells there. I like the number of Minsc and Boo, and I like the number of Uro. I like the Dreadnoughts. I like Dress Down to enable them. We don't need this many Stifles. And we also mulligan multiple hands with Mycosynth Garden in it. Maybe that should just be more lands that make mana. Or split the 2 gardens into the 4th Volk and the 3rd Wasteland. That's the thing you could do. Garden was fine a couple times, but a couple times we mulliganed because of it, and I'd rather make my worst draw better than make my best draw better when I'm building decks. Bobby, I hope this was helpful. Thank you for sharing the deck. I always love a Dreadnought pile. Phyrexian Dreadnought, I think, is my most trophying archetype on this channel. Got a lot of 5-0s with Dreadnought in the deck. Unfortunately, this wasn't one of them, but still had fun, and hopefully the feedback was good. Thank you all for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, check out the Patreon, and I will see you next time.